In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create visuals for your music inside Ableton Live. I'm going to be using a suite of Max for Live devices called ZwoBot, and this video is a tutorial on a particular ZwoBot device. So if you're new to ZwoBot, I'd recommend you go back and watch some of my earlier videos first, and I'll put a link to the playlist in the top right corner now. And if you want to buy ZwoBot, there's a link in the description. You get all of these devices that you can see here. There's around 70 of them for around $69. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Multi module, which multiplies your visual into many different shapes. So I've already connected it to my player. I've got this video, which is one of the videos that comes with the ZwoBot suite. I've already loaded that into my first video deck. So I'm just going to switch this multi-device on. And right away, we can see what it's doing. It's created multiples of the video on top of it. We've got all these different modes. By default, it's set to plane. And what that means is that it's just put the video inside a 2D plane. So if I just rotate the shape, you can see it's just a 2D video. But we've got all these other shapes, so we can have it inside a cube. So you can see now the video is being projected onto all of these cubes. We've got O cube, which means an open cube. So you'll see that that's a cube with two open ends. We've got a sphere, cone, capsule, torus, which is this donut shape, and cylinder. So for now, I'm just going to select sphere. And then with these controls here, you can control how many of them there are, how big they are, and how spaced apart they are. First, let's look at the zoom. That controls how big they appear on your screen, or you could think of it as a zoom, or you could think of it as controlling it on the Z axis. It basically brings the objects closer or further away from you. But when you get to a certain point, you'll notice that you don't even see them at all. And then we've got size and density. So this controls how far apart they are from each other. So if you want them to be a bit more spaced out, you can bring it down. So the further up it is, the more close together they're going to be, and the further down it is, the more spaced apart they're going to be. And then we've got this amount, which controls the amount of shapes. So when it's right at the bottom, you've only got one, and as you bring it up, you start getting more. And here we've got auto rotate. So by default, this will be switched right down, which means it's not rotating at all. But as you start to turn it up, this controls the speed of the rotation. So they're going to rotate faster the higher up it is, or slower the lower down it is. And under here, these buttons control what is rotating. So is it rotating on the X axis? So that's going to rotate horizontally, or on the Y axis. So it's rotating top to bottom, or on both. So it's rotating diagonally. And down here, we've got these B and T controls. So B controls whether the background is showing or not. So if I turn that off, we're only going to see the shapes. And if you turn B on, then we see the background. So you can choose whether you want the background on or off. And then this T button applies it as a texture map. It's almost like using the blend mode. And speaking of blend modes, we don't have blend modes on this, but we do have our normal transparency control. So this setting here controls the overall transparency of the effect. One thing you can do with this is use multiple instances of it. I've got 3 connected to my player here. I've only got this one active at the moment, so I've just set it to plane and I've got it so that there's 4 taking up the screen. And if I put another one here, I'm actually going to put that, let's disable that. This one I'm going to put at the bottom. So I'm just going to drag it down here for now, so it's at the bottom of our signal chain, because I want these 2 to be on top of it. So if I activate this one, which is this one here, which is also set to plane, which I don't want, so I'm going to set that to cube. Let's try that, and let's make it smaller. We want to be able to see the other one. Maybe have less of them. Have them closer together. And let's have them auto-rotate. So we've got some cubes there. And then this third one, which I'm also going to put on top. So I'm going to drag the cube one down to here. I'm going to activate this. And now we've got spheres. But we can also still see the background, because we've got the background switched on all of them. So we're getting everything inside the spheres, but we're also getting everything in the background of the spheres. We can choose to switch off the background on any of them as well. And maybe I want to have some rotation on these spheres as well, but not as fast. And you can apply some of them as a texture map, so you get a kind of blend mode. You can also get an interesting effect using these color effects on the player. So if I turn this invert on, and then I can play about with the contrast, the saturation. And that is the multi device. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. I've got a bunch more ZwoBot tutorials, and I will be back with another one soon.